Hello. Hello. How are we all doing today? Hope we're doing well. I can just start that right now. Doesn't matter too much. Don't need to get that. Hope we're doing well today. We got a lot. We're gonna have a lot to do today. This is the FlyJSim 727-100 in Saudi Arabian livery, now known as Saudia. Hello, Steve, Aaron, Irish, Luke, Fast Farming, SG, Alex, hello. How am I today? I'm doing good. I get to fly this thing. This is the Boeing 727-100. It's a tri-jet. It's got 3 big old engines. It's not actually a long-range airliner. It's weird. You've been looking at the Logitech yoke. I really like my Thrustmaster yoke. So, let's start by getting the... Every other plane, I've just been sat over there faffing about with the overhead panel and the main panel. No, in this plane I need to come back into the flight engineer's seat. Let's get the battery going. Battery's now on. Let's get the APU starting up. There we go. I have a yoke? No, I've got a Thrustmaster joystick. Did I say yoke? I meant joystick. Let's get hydraulic 2 going and the oil cooler down to ground off. Let me just check if that's still set correctly. That is all set correctly there. Packs can come on for a bit. Gas per fan and cargo heat can go normal. Packs can come on. Hit reset. AC generator drive is fine. APU is fine. Should be coming up soon. I'm just waiting to be able to close the generator. Do I want to play FS 2020? Yes. I wish I could stream it. Because I do have the alpha, so... There we go, that's the APU on. Hydraulic B is on. Let's get the forward and aft boosts on. There we go. That one's... There we go, that's up to pressure. And that'll do there for now. We can get galley power on for now as well. But we're gonna work off the APU because... How do I know all the controls? I spent like an hour and a half, a bit longer than that, actually learning this plane in the first place. Just get the nav lights on, and the logo light is already on. Perfect. And the emergency lights. Window heat is already on. Let's do a stall warning test. It works. I don't guess I actually do know what these controls do. Let's get the lights going here. Not going to be of much use to us today, but it's always nice to have them going. And the red dome light. I already have the probe heaters on. Perfect. Weather 1029 required. There we go. Once, twice, 3 times. Do I need to push or turn them all to play it? Most of them will be required, so couldn't use SimBrief for the route today because it doesn't have the 7.3 or 7.1.1. Okay, elevators are good. Rudder's acting twice, perfect. SimBrief doesn't have the 7.2.1, unfortunately. It's to OYSN. We are Saudia 248. And we're going via one toe. I was gonna do this raw data, but then I realized I'm crap at raw data. And then golf. Is that a 6 or a 5? 6, 6, 7 to Kitab. And then uniform golf 667. He was in the Volvo trucks waiting for your truck to get fixed for 4 hours. GG. Uniform golf 667 to. Oh wow, this is a really. To Whiskey Delta Romeo. And then back onto golf 667. And that brings us to. This could be a really short flight plan according to this. Brings us to Alona. And further decisions will be made there because that brings us on to our arrival. So we'll execute that. Our cruising altitude today is going to be 350,000 feet. 350,000, 35,000 feet. Actually, it should be 340. My bad. I'm going in the wrong direction to be 350. I just want to check my optimal again. So, optimal is 354. Let's have a bit of fun. 360. Means I need to come back here. That was the wrong button. Come back here and reset this to 360. 360 requires 6,000 feet of pressurization. And our landing altitude is 7,220. That needs to be set ground. That's set to auto. Perfect. The famous Boeing wing of the ISS. Exactly. Anything else I need to set up in the meantime? Yes, departure. The departure is going to be the from 33 right, the Monty 1 kilo, this one. Execute that, enable 1000, that's fine. This doesn't really have VNAV at all. We're gonna set our flight director up here. That's perfect. Do fire test. Perfect, bell cutout. I have everything pre-selected for pushback, so let's just get the no smoking and those on. Anything else I need to worry about right now? It's generator drives for the engines. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, I think we're about ready to push back. It'd be cool if we could choose music you'd play Airwolf during takeoff. I would not do that on YouTube because everything gets angry if you try and play copyrighted music on YouTube. That's on. That's perfect. Probeat's on. Yeah, we're ready to be pushed back. So let's. This is one of the super cool features. I'm actually just going to retract the air bridge here real quick. There we go. And while that's happening, we'll call for pushback.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
I actually want to use this correctly, so our transition altitude is 13,000 feet. That's fine. Just double checking stuff here. So Munto is at or above flight level 200. However, our first restriction really is Miblu below 10,000. So we'll set 10,000 here. This is all autopilot stuff that we don't need to worry about just yet.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Where's the map screen thingy? Do you mean the glass cockpit that didn't exist when this plane was designed? I can navigate using using VORs, so if I were to, we'll say, have a look at, just pin that real quick. Have a look at this. We got the airport here, which is fine. But if you look at where we're going to Munto first. Right? Munto is on the 007 radial of this VR.
So
Riyadh.
connected and bypass
So if I
inserted. Release parking brake.
I'm just going to hold that there for a second. If I tune 113.3 into nav1 and set a course, can't actually do that because I've got the flight director set to GPS. Let's set it to nav real quick. Tune in a course of 007. You can see we're 5 miles away from it currently. But how do I know we're at the right? How do I know this is the right VOR? Well, if I turn on nav 1, that is the correct VOR. The Morse code was correct. Because I was listening for dash dot dash dot 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 dash. That's what I heard. This is not a plane for people who are not confident with planes. In any case, let's get the
starting pushback, and you may start
pushback
engine.
going. Packs off. And we'll get engine 3 going right about now. So engine 3 should start spooling up there once we hit about 25% RPM. I will introduce some fuel. Here we go. Doing engine 3. While that's spooling up, do some quick calculations for takeoff. We'll do a flaps 5 departure. Yeah, so we'll set bugs here. QNH 1028, yep. 158, 178, 190, 200. So I'll need to remember at 178 I can extend or retract flaps to 2. 190 I can reflect, or no, 190 I need to be at flaps 2. 190 to 200 is flaps 2, so we're going to be going quite fast with flaps 5. And there is no trim, but if I hit that, that is now takeoff trim. Is there a map of all the airports? Exclamation mark route, I think, on YouTube. Engine 3 is now good. Engine 2 can come on now. We're still in the pushback, so everything's going good. Engine 2 is spooling. Engine 3 is stable. Engine 2 can get some fuel.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
That's pushback complete. Parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Just set that. Set auto brakes for takeoff. That's all fine for now. Can't hear the engines? I did notice the engines are a bit quiet. Hang on. There you go. There's some engine noise. Disconnect, please. Engine 2 is now stable, so let's start engine 1. Let me just get explained a bit louder. Oh, that's full volume.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
There's some engine noises now. Engine 1's ready for fuel. There's some fuel into engine 1. And that's starting up nicely. Back into the hot seat over here. The boost pumps for the center engine need to be turned on. And we can close the gens for all 3 engines now. Strip the gen and stuff for the APU and turn that off. Packs can come back on. This is going to go for duct overheat. It usually does. Set essential power gen 2. Oh, the duct didn't overheat this time. Usually it does. All lights are off there. That means we are set for taxiing at the very least. Those lights should be on. That's all good. That's all good. That's all good. Let's get the taxi light on. Set flaps 5. Wait for the flaps to come down here. There we go. There's flaps 5 set. And we can kill the parking brake. And explain. Start spooling the engines. Hopefully gonna get back into explain soon. You should. I just realized I wasn't engaged for a 777. Oh well. Oh, by the way, SG, this thing, there's multiple reasons you could never fly this. Number 1, it doesn't have auto throttle, which means that when we're at cruise, when we're getting into cruise and stuff, I'll have to manually set the throttle. Doesn't show you how fast you're going. Beginning of that thing again, which makes you run it good. I don't even know what the thing is. Do. Just get up to the taxiway here. That shadow PC thing, Bob? Fair enough. Let me just change some settings in XP Realistic. Because that's where the problem is. should be fine. Now Ryanair stop taxing so fast. We're getting off the ground quickly. It's my excuse. There we go. I just want to, while we're stopped here, set up the autopilot real quick. For navloc. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, can I do IS hold? No. Ah! I need to set the autopilot in the air. This is gonna be fun. Okay. So, let's get the landing lights on. The strobe on. Turn off's on. I can turn off the taxi light. Why does it look like I'm going to tip every time I turn? I'm not entirely sure. I've noticed that myself, and I'm not sure why. What's the runway heading here? We're on 33 right, 327.
Approaching 3 right.
I'm presuming that's 327.
On runway 3 right.
Here we go. Maybe that music? I mean, yeah, I can turn the music off. I'm fine with that. The music's just for my own entertainment, really. So I think we're about ready to go. No chrono to start, so let's get those throttles moving. Takeoff power achieved. Actually, overachieved. Whoops. Pressure.
80 knots.
80 knots. Be rolling here for a bit because this thing is... I've made the plane very heavy.
Rotate.
Come on. There we go. I think we got a small bit of a tail strike there. Gear up. And the flaps can fully retract already. Perfect. Default scenery, this is not entirely default. Technically using a texture pack. There we go. She really wants to climb, wow. I'm climbing at 4,000 feet a minute. Let's just bring the throttles back to about 1.9 EPR. There we go. Oh, that's calmed down the climb a bit. Whoa, okay. More trim needed. Let's get the autopilot going on IAS hold. I need to turn to arm the autopilot. Now I can go ISO. Now I can go nav loc and alt select. And the speed I've chosen is way too slow. Holy cow. No, 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 no. Let's climb at 250. Up until 10. And next, after 10, let's keep up by at 10. Where are we at the moment? Progress. For some reason, it's not set my cruising altitude correctly. Unable 10,000 keep up. Well, I'm aware of that, but where's Modax? Oh wow, we're not even at Modax yet. Oh boy. We're gonna be cruising at 10,000 for a second here. But at 10,000 we can turn off the landing lights. And, whoops. Turn off the seatbelt sign that I'd accidentally left on. Pressurization check is going good. That is perfect. They'll slowly climb up to 6,200 feet. Sorry, 6,000 feet exactly, isn't it? Yeah. Is that correct? 3660. Okay. So really it's kip up. Because we're on the Munto 1 kilo. We should have actually been climbing a hell of a lot slower than we were, so it's slightly odd that we did so. Oh, yeah, I forgot no auto throttle. We're actually flying at 400 knots. Oops. Bring the APR back to 1.3. And technically we're above 10,000, so we are going to climb, however, at at 300 knots, because that is fun. That would explain why there was like no turning happening. So it's just going to be... I'm going to turn the music back on because... I mean, we're above 10,000. Stereo cockpit doesn't need to apply anymore. Yeah, Mervo should be 6,200 or above, and then Mid-Blue and Kipap are both 10,000 or below. And we're at 10,000. I mean, the question is, do I just say I'm gonna do my own thing and rip it? Which is really tempting. We are 8 miles from... That's not 8 miles from Mervo, is it? Oh, it might well be, just looking at the map here. Sorry, I'm not even showing you the map that I'm looking at. Here's the map in Navigraph. We're here, Mervo's here. We should be way lower than we are, but it'll do, I guess. And we gotta get all the way out here, so we're gonna be at 10,000 feet for another 26 miles or so. Actually, 18 and 8 is 26. Plus another one. 27 miles we're gonna be minimum. We're gonna be... Actually... Screw this. Direct. Kip up. Direct. Execute. When in doubt, just do a direct. So what we're going to do now is we're going from here to here. And then we can start climbing. Exol is 150 or above, 170 or above with Lotot. Munto 200 or below, so we'll set 200. Oh, actually we'll set 170 because it's 170 or below with Lotot. So, that we can do. The plane's still kind of slowing down. We're still flying at 350 knots. And I have not forgotten to go to standard. Transition altitude is 13,000 feet here. And the plane is just doing things, and I'm not sure what those things are. Bring the pitch command down. Nav looks correct. Oh, I can command that to do an altitude. That's kind of cool. We can turn off the landing gear. We're not going to need that for a little while yet. Unable 10,000 to Kip app. Oh, maybe it meant I was going to climb way too fast. That would make so much sense. So, it's deleted my cruising altitude again. Stop doing that. Unable once. Yes, I know, because you don't. It's because you don't have any. It gets angry when it can't do manage the engines, apparently. It's not even telling me how far away from... Oh. That's really useless. This is really useful. We're 16 miles from Kipap, at which point we can start climbing again to 17,000. Or flight level 170. And then from there we can rock on. Let me just turn the music down a small bit. For purpose of let people hear engines. In the meantime, let's have a look at our beautiful tri-jet. This is honestly like one of my favorite planes. Because I've got a thing for tri-jets, and Boeings are generally quite easy to fly. So, why are there still lights on? Hang on, what lights are on there? Oh, the turn-offs. Whoops. Once we get up to about 20,000 feet, then I'll release passengers properly. Unless I've already done that. I've already done that. That's fine. Because we're going to be climbing at 300 knots, so won't be too big of a deal. 8 miles from Kipap now. I'm going to set our next altitude of 170. Because the plane's not going to climb, because it's actually set on vertical speed of 0. And we're just going to cruise for another 6 miles at 10,000 feet. In reality, the ATC would probably have cleared us higher by now, but oh well. That is Riyadh there. All the little houses of Riyadh. And a couple of towers and stuff. Very pretty city. Not good for my frame rate though. There we go. We're past Kipap now. So we can hit Alt Select. And IAS hold. And we'll go up to 1.8 EPR should do. 1.82 is fine. As we fly over Riyadh, and there is King Salman Air Base there off the right way, the left wing. Looking just like an airbase. And since we're effectively cleared to flight level, let's get standard in, which is 1013 or 2909 or 2. 3 times, because, of course. 2. Oops. 3. We no longer have mismatch there, and we are climbing once again. Exile is still 17 miles out. We need to be 15,000 or above. We will be. So that's not a concern. I'm just going to actually set 1.86 on the EPRs here. So that's roughly where I want to be for climb. Got it. I mean, we are climbing at 300 knots, which is pretty impressive. I mean, if I brought this down to 250, we'd be climbing a bit faster probably, but 300 will do. I could go proper ham and just go, let's climb at 350 knots. And by the way, yeah, this is something that modern planes don't have. Is in modern planes the map will just appear at the bottom and you'll be like, oh, okay, we're traveling, you know, it's just a number readout. In this, no, it's a little dial that you gotta actually read off. Coming up near altitude, we're above 150, below 170. So we'll be holding at 170 now. Let's bring the engines back then. To get us to a relatively okay speed. 1.35 EPR should do. Because that'll keep us climbing ever so slightly, but not fast enough that it's going to cause problems. From Exile, which is where we are now, it is 10 miles, 12 because VNAV changed a bit early. 12 miles to Lotot, at which point we can then climb to flight level 200 over 21 miles. Oh god. I think maybe we should climb at 350 knots. So let's just give this a little tweak. We're gonna climb at Mach 0.7. We'll get the engines going up again. 168 should be good. Hopefully. Once we get to flight level 360, we will be fine. It's just this plane wants to climb, it actively wants to climb. In terms of passengers and whatnot today, we have all of them. Literally every seat is filled because that was funny. 106 passengers on this 727-100. We've got about 4 tons of cargo and about 10 tons of fuel, so literally nothing should be a concern. The only minor concern is we are above max landing weight currently, but because our current gross weight is 64,720 kilos, landing weight is 62.3 tons, we should be fine. Optimal altitude is actually basically 360 as well, so that is all looking good. Coming up on Lotot, so let's get going up. Oh wow, I can actually advance the throttles a bit more. Oh, this is one of the joys of having 3 engines, the plane just flies super fast. And once we get to 350, we'll be going Mach, like basically Mach 0.9. Aha! This thing is damn near supersonic. Nothing today can match the insanity of a 727, or the fuel consumption. Because this thing, oh my god, it burns fuel. We're over Lotot now, so let's hit Alt Select and IAS hold. Bring this up to 185 EPR. And that's got us climbing again. We're probably going to hold 185 EPR for the cruise. Now, the joy of deciding to climb at 350 knots is we're actually covering the 21 miles fairly sharpish. Like we're already 14 miles away, and we're only at 18,000 feet. We need to be below flight level 200 at Munto, and then after that we can just climb direct 360. And we will be good. I have no idea what the weather's like in Sana'a today, but hopefully it's going to be not too bad. Hopefully it'll be relatively calm, because this plane is a bit of a handful on landing. We are very, very nearly at Munto. 9 miles left, 1,000 to go. And there's going to be somebody who's going to get angry that I've got an FMC here. Flight management computer. Or flight computer, whatever you want to call it. Most jets, most 727s that are still flying actually have one, so... You know, I'm not flying classic style with SIVA navigation or raw data, radio nav. We're going... modern. If Saudi had a 727 today for some reason, which would be slightly insane because they've gotten just stupid money. Also an all Airbus fleet. The all Airbus fleet is possibly the more important thing there. Yeah, 1.85 EPR seems to be holding 200 at 370 knots. Basically Mach 0.8, which is... We're now faster than the 737 will ever go, by the way. At flight level 200. Let's get this thing up to cruising altitude. Alt select, IAS hold, let's go. And once we get to 360, which I'm hoping it'll let me actually put in my cruising altitude now. Give me some idea. Unable 20,000 a month. We're past Munto. Execute. Progress. Oh, 360. We're past Munto. Ooh, it didn't shout at me this time. Hey. Gonna be landing in just under an hour. That's at the current speed which we're climbing at, though. And we're climbing at... Oops, I forgot to turn on TCAS. We are climbing at 2,000 feet per minute, slowly kind of coming down to the climb. We're climbing at 350 knots. Or Mach 0.78, which is cruising speed for a 737. Actually a fast cruise for a 737. One thing that is missing on this that is in modern planes is a chrono, which is a bit odd. At least I can't find one. Our true airspeed currently is 476 knots. Which is good, I guess. Outside air temperature is minus 30 degrees Celsius. And yeah, we'll be climbing for a little bit yet. We're actually slowing down the climb slightly, so let's go up to 1.9 EPR. Actually, let's not go to Toga. 1.95 should do. Ish. Then we can cruise at 185. Because I want to get as close to Mach 0.9 as I can. For maximum silliness. Will it actually... I've never tried this. 0.9. Oh, it does actually do that. If we cruise at Mach 0.9, our top of descent moves by 5 minutes. Oh dear. 24,000 feet gone. Climbing at 1,500 feet per minute. We'll be there in no time. Let's do a bit of a flyby real quick. This could get loud. Yeah, Mach 1 is the speed of sound. Foxtrot, yeah. So, you know, we're currently climbing at Mach 0.82 almost. Most commercial jets now, with the exception of the 7.4, I know cruises at silly speeds. 7.3s and A320s tend to cruise at about Mach 0.74-ish. If they're going for a fast cruise, it's 0.78. So climbing at 0.82 is slightly insane. So, you know, we're getting through this quickly. This is what part of the reason I love tri-jets is they're just insanely good. They're old. But I could hit Mach 1 and get the big boom. Yes, and then I get an even bigger boom when it hits the ground, because we're now at speeds where the aircraft basically needs autopilot to work. I mean, our true airspeed is 502 knots, which, if you multiply that by 1.13, you actually get the miles an hour. So let's try that real quick. Calculator. 502 multiplied by 1.13. We're going at 570 miles an hour currently. Just, you know, if you... we're actually still speeding up because we're still climbing, which means our relative ground speed. Oh, by the way, that's just the airspeed. Our ground speed is... what's our ground speed? Does it say here? Ground speed is 494 knots. Does it say on this what kind of speeds we're getting up to? Indicated airspeed is 346, ground speed is 495, true airspeed is 510. Yeah, I mean, we've got 27,000 feet to play with, but it's not the kind of playing I'd want to try. We're now at Mach 0.86. Also, I've just realized that Mach 0.9 is actually overspeed, so let's just climb at Mach, you know, Mach 0.82. It's probably a good speed. So we're gonna increase climb just to bleed the speed. And our EPR is actually going up now as well because air is getting thinner. Pressure inside the engine, because this is a ratio. Air inside the engine is now significantly more compressed than air outside. Our current top of descent is estimated at 1304 Zulu. That's at Mach 0.9. What if I change that to 0.82? Cruise 0.85. Let's say 0.85 for cruise. Whoops. 0.85. Bring top of descent to 1306. That's fine. $29,600 feet. Let's see how high this can go right now. Let's just go full toga. This is full engine power. Exhaust temp's a bit high. RPM is actually too high, so we need to dial that back to about there to be safe. So 1.9 is probably a good safe bet for climbing. .91 would be better, because he doesn't want to do 1.9. 1.92 will be fine. Yeah, that's all in the green now. Things you don't need to worry about in a modern plane, because everything's pre-managed. I'm not really climbing anymore though, so let's try and climb up Mach 0.75, which is about there. And then we can accelerate up to cruising speed afterwards. The forward boost pumps are at low pressure, which means that the forward end of those fuel tanks are empty. Still got tons of fuel, and I didn't. So, okay, fun fact. This is the fuel dump system. I didn't realize this the first time I flew the plane. I was wondering why it was burning so much fuel. All of these were open. I was flying and just throwing fuel out of the plane. I set it to climb at Mach 0.75. We're already at Mach 0.78 because we climbed so fast. This could get interesting real quick. Have I flown the Concorde on this? No, because it's like $50 and I can't justify that expense. I've flown an SR-71 Blackbird though. That's fun. The Blackbird in X-Plane is really fun to fly because you can just basically point it upwards and throw the afterburners on. Also, hey, do you remember when I set the EPR to 1.92? We're at 1.98 again now. So, as we climb, I'm actually having to reduce the speed, or the indicated airspeed that we're climbing at, because the plane is getting so high that the air is so thin that it's actually altering the sensor here. And it is using the indicated airspeed sensor to detect how quickly it wants to climb. Now EPR 2 again. Everything's looking good on those dials though, so that's fine. True air temperature is minus 20, or total air temperature is minus 25. True air speed is now 437 knots. Hey Mossy, long time indeed, dude. Our ground speed is reducing slightly because we are trying to climb this damn thing. And we're not going as silly into the Mach ranges. I need to actually put in more throttle. So we'll go to EPR 2.2-ish. And hope that climbs us a bit. Because our optimal is flight level 361. We're going to flight level 360. I'm just going to go full power and hope the engine doesn't explode. Just put the indicator tabs over there. Bring this back down to Mach 0.75 again. As we tilt upwards. 1,000 to go. Almost a cruise. Alt hold, locked in. Oddly, we have no glide slope because we're at 36,000 feet. So let's get the engine spooling up to Mach 0.86. The plane's spooling up to Mach 0.86. If it can do that, Don't know if that's actually something we can do to speed the plane up that much. I'm gonna try. I wanna see how fast we can cruise this thing. Mach 0.78. Do another flyby because this thing is big. This thing is slightly bigger than a 737, but a hell of a lot louder. The triple contrail is just one of those things that I love. By the way, they're all in line despite this engine being up here because the engine actually ducks down and there's the exhaust of engine 2. If you didn't know that before about a 727. The engine 2 exhaust ducks downwards and exits where the APU of a 737 usually lives. The APU of the 727 actually lives below that duct. Although for some reason the exhaust on this lives in a really odd place. Whoops. The exhaust output on this for the APU for some reason is over the right wing, which isn't correct. Just trying to make sure we're at 6,000 feet. We are. The pressurization's good. Ain't no door or window open on this plane. And we'll bring this back to about 1.85 EPR. We shouldn't lose too much speed. 1.87 should do. And I'm just going to keep an eye on this here because we're currently going at... Oh, we are losing speed actually, look at that. Let's go EPR of 2. That should hold speed at least. Yeah, we're kind of holding speed here at Mach 0.82, which is fine. That's perfectly fine by me. Good thing about X-Plane is I can do that, and don't actually need mods for these reasons. Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you on your way out. Bye-bye. He was, I mean, he's dumb enough to keep coming back. So, I mean, I question his decision-making skills. And whether or not he actually ever went to school. Because they clearly need work and maybe he should go back to school. Maybe he's like 6, so I don't know. I wonder why I get toxic people and I do toxic things like that. Although, Joe, I'm gonna counter his argument. Yeah, I'm gonna counter his argument properly. It's a game. It's not real. This isn't a real plane that I'm flying. I don't have a pilot's license. I don't really drive tractors. I don't actually have a driving license at all. If I need to go somewhere, somebody else comes with me at all times, or I get a bus, or I get a train, because I don't have a driving license, or a car. These are games. They're not... This isn't a real plane. It's like... I don't get people like that, like... I don't know. But my counter argument. It's only a game, why have to be mad? It's only a game. I bet she's making a new account now. Hey SG. Welcome back. He's been back again. Trying to somehow argue that what I'm doing in these games is real. He'd be really angry if he knew I've got my heater on beside me. Because it is cold today. I can actually put it on to half power now. How angry do you think he'd be if I started flying the DC-3, which basically just burnt fuel, or something with an afterburner that literally injects fuel into the exhaust? Hey Sylvan, how's it going today, dude? So, yeah, EPR2 seems to be pretty good for a Mach 0.8 cruise. Mach 0.8-ish. So I need to change my cruise speed to 0.8. Actually, we're at 0.81. Well, I'll keep it at 0.8. Top descent scheduled for 1310 Zulu. In-game. Which is, I don't know. Hey, Danny Boy. I do remember you. I kept making fun of your name by singing Danny Boy at you. We have a look at the map. Hey, Scott. We've come from here. This is Riyadh. I know it doesn't look like it says Riyadh, but it says Riyadh. And we're heading down here to Sana'a. Which, I know it doesn't say Sana'a, but it's Sana'a. And we're about, I want to say about halfway now. This is, like, one of my favorite planes. I particularly like the eyebrow windows. I forgot to disarm the auto brakes. Also, let's get some, while we're en route, much know around me, like, a lot fell yesterday, but not a whole lot actually landed. Our top of descent is wrong. A plane I'm flying, a Boeing 727-100 with a Saudi Arabian livery. Now known as Saudi, but it used to be called Saudi Arabian. And it looks and sounds a little bit like this. She's a bit loud. Are we still losing speed? We're actually still decelerating slightly. Can I go much higher than EPR2? Not really. N2 is about where I want it. It's a trijet. And one of the really interesting things, I'm just moving this around, you can see the air intake for engine 2 is up here. The exhaust for engine 2 is actually there. So air comes in here, passes through the engine, and then gets ducted down after the engine to go out the back. The MD-11 had a different solution to this, which is the tail's a lot bigger than MD-11, and they just put the engine in the bottom of the tail. Problem with trijets like this is very difficult to service engine 2. Which is probably, well, the fact that they've got 3 engines and it's a narrow body, kind of mid-range, medium-range liner, is part of the reason they're not used anymore. Oh, hang on, I got the flight number wrong there. There we go. Saudi 248, not 249. So let's start getting weather for Sana. Also skip this song because it's just terrible. Oi, skip. So Sana is Oscar Yankee Sierra November. Surface winds 505. Okay. I want to delete that approach. Change the arrival to a 3.6. I mean 5 knots. No, stick on 1.8, and we'll do the. What's the difference between the Sabi 1 Alpha and 1 Bravo? There is no difference. Okay. That's fine. So, I'm just going to flight plan here and add in direct, actually it should be in legs, shouldn't it? Zabip at the end. There we go. Execute that. And then arrivals. We're going to land with a tailwind today, which is fine. The Zabi 1 Bravo to ILS 18 via Nibal. Execute that. Unable 13th. Oh, shut up. You can do it. That should get the progress page looking a bit better. Top of descent 237, 100 miles-ish, 140 miles. 14 by 3 is 37. No, it's not. It's 42. Okay. Air Italy, Alitalia shutting down again? Have they actually gone broke this time? Because Alitalia runs into financial problems every like 2 or 3 years. And they, every time it happens, they're like, oh, we need to shut down, and never mind, we found the money. So there's a bit of kind of why is that reading differently? That's odd. It's probably a perspective thing. Alitalia just keeps running out of money because it's run badly. So I always take it with a pinch of salt when they say they're in financial difficulties and need to shut down. By the way, if you've got X-Plane, thoroughly recommend the FlyJSim 727. Actually, any FlyJSim plane, with the exception of the Dash 8 Legacy, because they've got the Q4 XP coming out. And I'm going to be buying that because I do really like the Dash 8. It says they're going into liquidation. I mean, they've been through liquidation about 3 times now. Just because they're being liquidated doesn't mean that they're being shut down. Because odds are the Italian government will find €5 billion stuffed down the back of a couch somewhere under questionable circumstances, and it'll suddenly, inject money into Alitalia again. Or, you know, Ryanair could buy them out. Ryanair buying out an airline that's going bust is always an option. It happened with Air Malta, it happened with Lauda Air. I think it's just called Lauda now. Is actually owned by Ryanair. Any news in the Dash 8? I've not really been checking, SG. If you want to FlyJSim's website, just search FlyJSim. You might find some information. I've not really been keeping up to date with flight sims outside of Microsoft, because, being honest, I'm probably going to switch over to Microsoft's one, or transition over to Microsoft's one when it comes out, because just send it on Messenger to me. Sweet, I'll have a look after the stream. Do I have Facebook open in this tab? Yes, I can open Facebook. Oh yeah, that's from when I was downloading that gift from Sim. Let's have a look here. If Facebook wants to work, there we go. PMs on Discord. Oh, it's Air Italy, not Alitalia. That's a different airline. Also, I can see their problem in that picture. The picture for the article immediately. It's a 737 MAX 8. They've gone bust because Boeing couldn't send them planes. Let me just check Discord PMs, SG. Oh, Jimmy Broadbent's doing stupid stuff again. Let's have a look. I would imagine so, SG. Yesterday they said there was something like 9 immediately, so I'm expecting no good. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Boeing's in a lot of trouble of late because, like, you've got the Max 8 problems, and they're huge, and they're really kind of ruining they're ruining Boeing's reputation. But not only do you have the Max 8 issues, which are huge and ruining the company's reputation, but like the 777X has had a lot of issues even getting off the ground. No orders in January at all. First time since 1965 Boeing have gone a month without getting a single order. But like aside from the 73 Max, which like I said, ruining Boeing's reputation, people are going Airbus instead. The 777X had a lot of problems getting to the test flight. Never mind the issue where it was too windy and the plane couldn't take off. That's, you know, that's a meme. That's a joke. That's something that happens with test flights. They've got to run under very strict conditions. So while I joke about Boeing not being able to fly the 777X the first time they tried, it was actually kind of expected that it wouldn't work out for them. So, you know, who really gives a damn? They've got the issues with the 787 engines as well. But not only do they have issues with the airline side of the business and the airplane side, but the space side of the business is suffering too, because it came out, was it it was yesterday. I watched a video from Scott Manley, and the Starliner, their new capsule that quote unquote is rigorously tested to ensure best possible quality, it not only had a timing issue on launch, which meant that it couldn't make it to the ISS, which was the entire point of launching the damn thing, because it burnt up all the Stage 2 fuel and the maneuvering fuel, so they had to just leave it in space for a couple of days, bring it back down. But while they were fixing that timing issue and looking into that, they found a second issue with the Starliner that only got revealed because they said to NASA, well, hang on, we had this timing issue, but we actually fixed the second issue in flight, and the mission went off safely. And NASA kind of said, hang on, there was a second issue. What was the second issue that you're talking about? Turns out that for re-entry, the way the re-entry works in capsules like the Starliner, the Crew Dragon and Soyuz and anything like that, is they go up with the crew capsule, which is the thing that comes back down to Earth, but they also have an additional bit at the bottom for electrics, holding in various equipment that is used on orbit, and stuff like that. And I've forgotten the name of it because I'm talking about it, so of course I have. So the problem they found and they fixed on orbit and didn't tell NASA about immediately, which they really should have, was that trunk, I'll call it a trunk, if they didn't have the timing issue on launch and the communications issue they had with the Starliner, it would have detached, which is the point, and then it's supposed to do a series of thruster firings to move it away from the crew capsule and keep it a safe distance away. It wouldn't have done that. Instead, as they discovered while it was in space, and it's probably the reason it took them a few days to bring it back down, it instead would have fired the thrusters and launched itself into the heat shield of the crew capsule at speed. Which, heat shields are pretty fragile. They're not robust things. There's a reason most of them, when they go up, are protected by some sort of trunk or additional bed or even a cover. And they kind of realized and discovered that if they had sent up Starliner and not had that timing issue after launch that meant it couldn't make it to the ISS, the capsule wouldn't have come back down to Earth in one piece, most likely. Because the space shuttle had a damaged heat shield once, a compromised and damaged heat shield, and that burnt up on re-entry. The Starliner would have done much the same. So Boeing got very lucky, and they've effectively been told, yeah, you're not going to the space station with that thing yet. You need to fix the problems and actually do the testing you were supposed to, because that's a critical element of mission. It's a critical mission element. The standard. That's a standard thing for your capsule to do. What happens if something weird happens? Because we no longer trust the standard stuff. What happens if we need to put out some weird contingency? That's like, if the standard stuff hasn't been tested well enough, the weird stuff definitely hasn't. And the weird stuff is used in an emergency, and it needs to work even more than the standard stuff. Are we there yet? We're on our way there. We're over halfway. I bring you down to the map here. We're flying from here to here, and we're here. So we're over halfway just after coming down this kind of mountain range. And we will actually be landing in some mountains. Sana'a is in some mountains. We'll be landing at an altitude of 7,217 feet. I know that says 7,220 back there, by the way. I preset the landing altitude before I did setup. So we'll be landing at 7,217 feet, 7220, just because that's the closest 10. I've rounded up. To the bright star in the night, it's the space station. Oh, are we getting space station passes at the moment? Military's probably holding Boeing together. Honestly, like orders from Ryanair and Southwest are at this point. The Ryanair and Southwest orders are holding them together because Ryanair and Southwest both operate entirely 737 fleets. And they got a lot of MAX orders in. The fact that there were no orders in the month of January. TUI operate... They do operate 73s, don't they? Yeah, TUI might be as well, but Ryanair are much bigger. Is the thing. Ryanair have about 300 planes. TUI I think at most have maybe 100. It's got not out in Scotland. I mean, if it's out in Scotland, odds are I'd be able to see it as well. Southwest have a similar, if not slightly larger, fleet than Ryanair. Which is why I'm saying it's those two holding Boeing together, for the most part. Because they're huge airlines with massive fleets, and I believe both have orders in triple figures for the MAX. Their whole fleet is Boeing. Do TUI not operates A330s? I thought they did. Also, SG, congratulations. There you go. No? Okay. I don't mind being wrong on that kind of stuff. I thought they did. I must be thinking of Thomas Cook Condor then. Yeah. I did say congrats. Just as I was doing it. Because at least now you can bring down the banhammer on the idiots. You've seen the mods in action. You know what's up from the admin chat and Discord, and I know you're not gonna screw about with it too much. Plus, you're in like 90% of streams and pretty good at engaging in chat. So. If ever you want, like, my mod criteria, there you go. That's the entire criteria for becoming a moderator. Is active in chat. I have some semblance of trust. And, I feel you're reliable enough to know what you're doing. Because, I mean, let's face it, a good mod doesn't want to be a mod. A good mod just wants to sit and chat and talk. What's minimums on the ILS? Because I can set that. I just realized this. Let's clear that away. I'll bring this all in a sec. By the way, oh god, it's windowed, which means it's scaled. Oh god. In that chart, go back. Overlay this one, pin it. So our Jet 2 are all Boeing. Jet 2 I think have A330s as well. So we are on the Zabip. No, we're on the SOCAT. So are we on the SOCAT or the Zabip? Zabip 1 Bravo, okay. So at Zabip, we need to be at Zabip at flight level 180. And descend to 160, 12,000. Oh, sorry, 13,000 there. 11. This is a terrible chart. Good lord. 13,000 there, and then over the San Avior. doesn't matter too much. Because we're going to a hold point at Nibal. Meanwhile, at Nibal, we need to be at 1000. So if we descend to 1000 for Nibal, so let's get a few things in the radios here. It's out now, space station. I mean, I'd have to run downstairs and go outside to look at it, so I'm not going to do that right now. Are you sure that's the space station, not Starlink, by the way? So on nav 1, I want 116.1. 1161. I'll actually put it into... No, we'll put it into both. And on nav 2, I want 110.9. And 110.9 as a reserve on nav 1, 2. So... Actually, we need 1161 over here as well. Because DME2 actually works. Stop corn on the ground, Wisconsin, you're getting up to 5 inches of snow tonight. We'll rip all of that. They have A320, A330, they're leased. Huh. I didn't know they had an A320. I think their 330 is kind of a demo. 330, what's our minimums? ILS decision height is 268. So if we set 270-ish. How many notches are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So that's 250, 60, 70. So that's our decision height right there. Looking planes. Let me get my phone in a sec. I'm just verifying some stuff here real quick. Up to Mach 0.82 again, probably a headwind. 471 knots. True. So like 500, probably close to on the ground. I can't see it. No, 420 something on the ground. 412. Okay. Looking planes. I left Discord on the wrong window. Turbine DC3. Oh god, Mike Brian's comparing the Basler to the DC3 again. Is Plane's website? No, it's a room in my Discord. Also, somebody tag me in Giant's Discord. There you go. Owned! I told you, simulator gaming. They're swapping over to the A321. SG, you didn't put a picture of an A330 in. The first one's an A321. Just FYI, you put in 2 pictures of A320 series aircraft. It's just the A321 is so long that it looks silly. They have an A330S, but you didn't put a picture of it in. Is what I mean. So Trav had no idea that you were going to ask about the 330. Where are we compared to top? God. Top of descent. Top of descent in 81 miles, so... in between Nedge and Netas. That's fine. That's a twin wheel A320, Sin. It's a twin wheel A320. SG, if you're still here, there is a reason that I said that. And there's 2 reasons. 1, it's a funny joke. 2, it actually has a common type rating with the A320. If you're certified to fly an A320, you can actually fly an A330. In real life. They are basically the same. Exclamation mark Discord. I think SG might need to put in the command for it. But yeah, the A320 and A330 are effectively the same plane in real life. Although I believe there are rules in some carriers that you can only hold 2 type ratings, or 2 type specific ratings, and the 320 and 30 actually count as 2 separate types, even though they've got a common rating, as do the 321 and 319, because slightly different lengths of planes mean that you can only be certified for 2 of them. So commonly you have guys that are like A320 or A319 and 20 pilots, and then you have guys that are 321 and 330 pilots, or A320 and A330 pilots, depending on fleet. Like in Aer Lingus, I would imagine I don't know Aer Lingus SOPs for this, but I would imagine they'll have guys that are just certified for A320, and then their more senior guys will be 321, 330 dual twin cert, just because the 321s that Aer Lingus have primarily do transatlantic crossings now, because they got the 21 LR. Or XLR, even. It's ridiculous now that narrow bodies are actually crossing the Atlantic. Like planes that are... You know, there's something that you would normally see just flying between like Ireland and Germany. No, you can cross the Atlantic in one now because we've made them so ridiculously fuel efficient. Also, if somebody said something in chat, I think Eastern chat is throwing a bit of hissy. No, that was Nightbot. The FPS isn't too bad. We're approaching Sana though. It's 7 miles top descent. And our first hold point really is going to be Zabip at 180. So if I just bring this down to 180. Gotta go for T, give it back for the landing. Landing is gonna be in approximately like 20 minutes or so. 20 minutes, half hour. So we'll I have unintentionally picked a route and plane that will actually get a 2-hour stream. Within what I, like for farm sim is a normal stream time. I'm honestly kind of impressed. Like, I was not expecting I was not expecting to finish at about 7 o'clock. Ooh, by the way, Farm Sim peoples, Mr. Landy Kid is planning on streaming on Monday. I think it's Monday. There's a public holiday coming up in Canada in the next couple of weeks on a Monday. I don't know which one, but on a Monday. And he will be streaming because he will not be at work because public holiday. So his grand one-day return to YouTube will happen. We're 150 miles away from the airport now. There's DME2 after kicking in. The reason I'm using the DME, DME means distance measuring equipment. For those of you who just hear 3 letters, distance measuring equipment. The reason I'm using that is it'll actually be super helpful for determining what I need to do for descent. So I'm dropping 29,000 feet. 29 by 3 is 6. 9 threes are 18. So I'll need about 80 miles to descend. At minimum. Now, as things stand, we'll have about 140 miles to descend. And that's probably actually... Hang on. That's probably because the descent in this is... the descent button doesn't work. 45 knot headwind, 50 knot crosswind. That would explain why everything looked a bit odd. And why we're actually flying at a heading of nearly 30 degrees off where we actually need to be flying. Because we're on a bearing of 200 and we're flying at almost 205, even almost 10 degrees off. We're 206 currently is a heading. So 6 degrees deflection from a 50 knot crosswind. Wind is 248 at 6.8. That's fine. Index arrival data. That's fine. I'd better do some calculations here. Landing. So I could go flaps 30. So field elevation, okay. I mean, I could do flaps 15 landing. I think flaps 30 is probably the best bet. Go for 125 VRF. 124 VRF. Yeah, that's really slow though. That'll be fine though. So to explain these bugs as far as I understand them, this one here is our we need flaps bug. This one here is flap 15 in gear. This one here is V approach. Or V app, or approach speed. So that'll change slightly as we go down a bit and burn off more fuel. We are now below max landing weight though, so that's good. Yeah, I'll double check that while we're on the approach itself. Looks like we'll be kicking in about there. Nope, a bit more. There-ish. 15 miles to top of descent. And did I arm the speed brake? I had the speed brake on. And we'll go auto brakes medium. Auto brakes minimum should be fine. What's our runway length in Sana'a? Runway length is 3.2 kilometers. Yeah, if we can get off at Fox and then go to the passenger apron from there. So here's the airport we'll be landing at, which inexplicably isn't showing up on... Ah! Hang on. I have the wrong capture set, I think. Shouldn't be, but... What happens if I set this one? Let me bring this up. No. Ah, there we go. Wonderful. Join the Discord. Thank you very much, Scott. So, here is the airport we'll be landing at. This is Sana'a Airport. I don't know if it's going to be exactly like this in the sim, but we're going to go off the chart. We're landing runway 18, so it's a 179 heading, and we'll be touching down probably about here-ish. Well, I'm aiming to exit a Fox. If I can exit Alpha or Bravo, that'd be great. But Fox is going to be our primary for exiting. This plane does slow fairly quickly. It's actually designed for short field performance, so Alpha is definitely a possibility. We have reached top of descent, so let's alt select IAS hold, and we'll bring that back down to about 250-ish. Bring the engines back, and we're descending. Everything back there looks good. Now we will actually, on approach, need to change from GPS to nav. But our landing time soon, hopefully. This plane is very much a handful for landing, so it might not go exactly according to plan. Whoops. Went too far with the throttle back. That honk you just heard was the gear horn. I can turn it off by pulling this, but I'm already basically idling, so it's fine. Come on, there we go. Now we should be good to drop all this altitude in the time we have. The distance we have. If not, I can just pull the speed brake and get it going. I forgot to turn on the weather radar. Should be fine though. So we'll be arriving in Sana'a in approximately 15 minutes or so. Yeah, about 15 minutes. And granted, we are descending slightly slower than maybe we should, but actually, let's have a bit of fun and descend at 280 knots. It'll give us a bit of a dive, but then we'll kind of even off on the descent. EPR is going to dip as we go down and get into thicker air, but that's fine, that's expected. I need to bring up this for landing info. Let me have a look here. 346. That suits 180, that's fine. Or 18, that's fine. 1021. Temperature 2.04. Winds 846. This will be greater than 10 kilometers. And QNH 1021. That is fine. Our transition level might be printed on this. If not, transition level, flight level 150. Perfect. Okay, so that's going to be the first information we need. Is flight level 150. Oh, and by the way, when we're on the ILS, this is going to be my landing information. I don't think it should... Oh, no, it should come up here. Yeah, no, the ILS will work there. That's perfect. On the artificial horizon. We are, I think, on a good glide slope here. Let's do a quick flyby on our descent here. You can see the angle the plane's coming at. Oh my god. So we'll be descending for a little while. And once we get below 10,000, I'll pause the music again. We'll go sterile cockpit. But chat is just off to my right, so I should be able to continue reading chat, unlike... I've seen some streamers go sterile cockpit and just start ignoring chat, or... I know of one that just ignores chat in general. Which I don't get why, like... I don't get why some streamers just ignore chat. It's like, the whole point is that people can watch you live and give you feedback live, and interaction with chat is like so much fun. Even when chat's super quiet, it's still a lot more fun because somebody could pop up at any second and be like, hello, I'm here, talk to me. Now they're 248. 71 miles to go, times 3. 70 miles to go is 21,000 feet. Yeah, we're actually slightly low. But we will need to level off at 10 just to get the speed to bleed off a bit more, so. And we're on the 1 Bravo, so 180 down to 160 is our current plan of attack. And then down to 13,000, then down to 11,000. Okay. This is going surprisingly well. I was expecting to have problems with this plane. Because this is a complicated beast. If you didn't guess from the fact that it has a fully modeled and functional flight control, or flight engineer's panel. Which if I want, I can turn off the left pack. I'm not going to. Oh, check. DC's all good. Yeah, DC's perfect. Yep, that's all working fine. Pressurization is now dropping, so The cabin isn't actually dropping because at 6,000 feet it's actually... I should probably actually get the cabin climbing to 7,220 feet. So this is going to be a weird situation where the cabin is climbing as we're descending. There we go. Through 20,000 feet, 60 miles to go. We're a small bit below where we'd like to be, ideally. 15 miles from Zabip. So we are doing well there. So is there like any indication? No, it's just like a distance from Zabip you turn. That's really awkward as a... Thank you. We'll be cruising at flight level 180 here for approximately like 10 miles. So let's get the engines spooling up to 1.3 again. 1 point whatever they need to be at here for about half power. According to my throttle at least. We're down alt hold, so we can descend 170. Sorry, 160. Or set 160 at least. Once we hit Zabip, then I can hit descent. I'll select. So I did say we were slightly below where we needed to be. This is playing out as being true. We have about 11,000 feet to go, which means we need 33 miles to descend. And we're currently 46 miles out, so we will be leveling off a couple of times during this descent. Which is not a big deal. I'm actually going to descend straight down to 1,000. Hey, Boom FPV. How's it going? Because 11,000 is the start of our ILS at Nibal. Give it a bit of a Nibal. I mean, if I were to send anyone 1,000, do I need to slow to 250? No, really, I don't. Yeah, the progress page is kind of out now, so I'm just going to look at the legs page. So, oh, that's why it's out. Yeah, no. Do that, execute, that'll give us a better idea. There we go. Level 16,000 at 3 miles. I mean, that's fine. You need to explain. Well, welcome to Explain. Don't buy this plane if you're new to flight sims. It's weird advice, I know, but this plane is just go down to alt horn. There we go. That was the gear horn. This plane is very difficult to fly at the best of times. It took me an hour and a half to figure out how the hell to get it off how to get it started up, never mind off the ground. So 1021. Set once, twice, 3 times, 17,300 verified once, twice, 3 times. If you're new to Explain, boom, get the Zebo mod. An hour? I mean, yeah, because I had to set all of that up. This is how planes used to fly. That's the flight engineers panel. You've got to use this. And then you've got to set all this up. And then you've got to set all this up. And then you've got to set all this up. That was just me going meticulously through checklists for an hour. But now I've got a bit of an expedited procedure in my head that works. I can really descend at 1.3 or 4 EPO, 1.04 EPO would be fine. Just to calm down the descent a small bit. 800 feet per second, or feet per second. Yes, we're going to descend at the speed of sound. No, 1500 feet per minute is about all I really need. But the plane looks great. It is an amazing plane. It is incredibly detailed, however, not beginner friendly. If you want a plane that looks amazing, works amazing, and is pretty beginner friendly, I'd recommend the Zebo mod 737-800, and like watching Flight Deck to Sim, because he is a real world 737 pilot, so he can tell you every SOP for that damn plane that exists. And the 737-800 is just an easy plane to fly. It behaves reasonably predictably. Okay. 12 miles out from Nibal. We're actually pretty much on profile here. This is good. And at Nibal, you won't buy 11. I mean, you can totally buy X-Plane 11. This isn't a default plane. This is payware. This is the FlyJ Sim 727-100. But I mean, where things are at the moment in the flight sim world is basically a lot of people are stopping with their current sims now because Microsoft are releasing their new flight sim later this year. And we are 15 miles out at 12,000. Yeah, fine. Hey, Captain Olaf. A lot of people are not buying too much for their flight sims anymore because Microsoft are releasing their new flight sim presumably later this year, and it looks stunning, and I think a lot of people are going to get it. We'll slow to 250 now. I probably should have slowed to 250 a long time ago. This cloud cover is not helping. You subscribe. I only do X-Plane once a week. Boom. Most of my content is Farm Sim because people watch it. At this point we can go to nav. And we should get the ILS up in a moment. Slow it back to 200 now. IS appears to be alive. And I need to set this to auto glide slope. Approach auto. Was it man glide slope? Are we now descending? Yes, perfect. Almost midnight for you. That is fine. Holy cow. Am I in control of how quickly this thing is descending, or is the autopilot? It is the autopilot. Okay. That was scary. Let's bring out a bit of speed brake here. Because we are going way too fast. Way too fast. More speed brake. Put in flaps 2. What's shouting at me? And flaps 5. Flaps 10. Flaps 15. Gear down.
Flaps. Flaps.
Okay, kill the autopilot.
Approaching 1-8.
Okay, we got landing flaps set.
Sink rate. Sink rate. Flight slow. Flight slow. Flight slow. Flight sink rate. Flight slow.
Okay, we're gonna have to go toga.
Flight slow.
Come on.
Flight slow. Flight slow. Flight slow. Flight slow. Flight slow.
There we go.
Flight slow. Flight slow. 100. 50. 40. 30.
Nope.
20. 10.
That was terrible.
Caution. On taxiway. On taxiway.
Oh, I know what the problem was. I left the spoilers up. Forgot to retract the spoilers, so we'll just go idle reverse. We're gonna get off by Bravo. Except these taxiways to the... This airport isn't correct. Right, stow the reversers. We're not gonna get off by Bravo, we're gonna get off at Fox. I was so panicked I forgot to turn on any of the lights that I needed to have on. Also, the passengers didn't have the seatbelt signs on. Whoops. Yeah, this airport has no buildings. That's probably not how this airport is in real life. I'll see if I can find some... Whoa. Some scenery for next week. But, taxiway Foxtrot's correct. Okay, we'll turn on to Echo. There we go. You can go off. Flaps can be retracted. So you got... That taxiway doesn't exist. Trying to work off a chart that is showing taxiways that don't or is not showing taxiways that are in game here. So that's Alpha there. Or it should be. Is there a sign saying that's Alpha? There's no sign saying that's Alpha. There's no signs giving me any information whatsoever as to where I am in the airport. Yeah, that's Alpha, that's Bravo. If I take Bravo now to the right and then take a left, I should be on the passenger apron. Really should taxi it slower because I need to get the APU coming up. Here we go. I can swap that onto that nav, and that'll get rid of the glide slope faffing about all over the place. It wasn't the best landing ever. Because it wasn't a very good landing because I forgot to retract the spoilers. So this is apparently the passenger apron. Good grief. I don't think the airport actually looks like this. I think either something's gone wrong on my scenery or this is just a really old default airport. Does look like the ooh. Yeah, I do like the fact these are self-maneuvering though. So let's get the parking brake on. Double check the APU is up. Yes, it is. Close the generator. Yeah, the engines can go off. Actually, I need to set that to bus tie, that to APU. Engines can go off now. And do you remember I said the APU exhaust was in a really bizarre place on this plane? Yeah, it's coming out of the wing for some reason. I would imagine that in reality that is something resembling an APU exhaust. Or possibly it comes out of the skid plate here. I can't imagine it comes out of one of the wings. What's really cool is if I now turn off the APU. That's the APU off. I'm hoping this happens, because I didn't notice this when I initially loaded the plane up. Because there'll be no hydraulic pressure, the flaps should start to sag and go down to about 20 degrees. May just have been the way that I loaded the plane up though. It was likely the way that I loaded the plane up, unless I need the battery off too. So the plane is now cold and dark. Well, warm and dark. It's dark. But you can actually see the... I was talking while we were in flight about the engine porting into the back here. You can actually see the majority of the kind of an S-shaped air duct. No, it was apparently just the way they loaded the plane up. The flaps are down. Okay. But that is pretty much going to do it for today. I'm just going to mark off the airport as done on my map, because it's another country in the books. Next week is going to be a quite a long one, I think. because we're going to Oman. It's 1,700 kilometers. The leg we did today was 1,087. So next week's flight could be as long as 3 hours. That could be interesting. But that is going to do it for today. I'm going to head off and get some stuff done. I might do some flying later. I don't know. Off stream. But until then, stay safe and goodbye.